Hey guys, welcome to a Friday game preview. This one's starting on 12th of June, which is basically today. For Europeans, that is 11 p.m. Central European time. For Americans, I believe it's 5 p.m. EST. And if you live in Australia or that part of the world, I believe it's way too early for you, something like 7 a.m. or something like that. Which is quite unfortunate, but if you still want to join, you can check the forum link that I'll leave below. So most of the important countries are taken already, but there are still few minors that might be available. I believe we have 15 players at the moment, or something like that. So this game I'm playing Ottoman Empire, one of my, well, I could say favorite countries to play with. Even though I didn't actually have too many opportunities to play with them, I think I played only one multiplayer game with them, and it's actually quite a short game because it ended due to Eastern and, the holidays. I'm not actually sure what happened there, but anyway. The Ottoman Empire does have a potential to finish first on the ladder. I mean, the first great power of them all. Unfortunately, it's not really a country that I would suggest for beginners because they don't really start in a very great spot. And if you don't know how to abuse their advantages, you might not have a very enjoyable game. Now, most people don't like playing Ottoman Empire because they start with a very low literacy. As you can see, 7%, that's less than basically any other country in Europe. Even minor countries start with at least 10, I believe, so not in a great position. And the good thing is that they are still a great power. They do have a lot of prestige, so they have some slight bonuses to their research points simply from being a great power. Now, as for the advantages, you do have decent position. Strategically, it's very hard for Russia to invade you through these mountains and hills here. And if you can secure those with few forts, you should be quite okay. Now, when it comes to Europe, European states aren't that huge, so even if you lose few of them, it's not a really big deal. The only important state in Europe that you have is Thrace, which is your capital province actually, and if you do lose Bulgaria and East Macedonia, then you'll get a decision to move your capital to Ankara. Which, if I do get an opportunity, I will do that, even though Istanbul is still quite a nice state. So, as for the other advantages, you do have a lot of states, which is usually a bad thing because you prefer to have less states with a lot of people, so you can industrialize quickly. But the Ottomans have a lot of smaller states, which do benefit them in a way that you have many ports. And those ports will be essential for us because I'm going to build a huge navy. Now, I don't intend of building a navy early on. Perhaps I will even skip building a navy for colonization because that does take a lot of money. And instead of colonizing, I might just industrialize while everyone is building steamers. So the reason for doing this is because steamer prices will go up ridiculously up. Mostly UK and probably Italy, if it forms, will be making a lot of commerce raiders, and I would have to spend ridiculous amounts of money to actually make a navy that will be obsolete very, very soon, so I don't want to do that. Instead, I'm just gonna build all the forts possible if I have enough money and try to get as many provinces from colonization as I can. Now, as for political situation, I think I did a fairly good job by allying Russia and UK. I believe that I have only defensive alliance with UK, but even that is quite enough, and then optional offensive and defensive alliance with Russia. So I'm pretty safe from those two powers, and the only real threat at the moment for Ottoman Empire is Austria. Now, Seleucus is playing Austria, and somehow we whenever we played together in the game, we would end up on opposing sides in some great wars and late game wars, even though we weren't direct enemies. Like, he would be ally of France and I would play Prussia, and then I would have to fight him because I had to fight France or something like that. So that's quite unfortunate, but I think with decent diplomacy I could probably convince him to just ally me. If not, then I am not really sure what to do about it. Neither Austria nor Ottoman Empire really start with a strong army early on. Especially when you know the fact that I have to fight Egypt for my cores early on. And it's not really hard war, but we'll be losing a lot of men to attrition, so I won't be having a huge army for quite a long time, and that's the reason why I signed alliances with Russia and UK. So, me allying Russia will probably scare off Austria or any potential invaders, I hope, and will allow me to focus on conquering Egypt. Now, I did basically, well, I don't really have a treaty about Suez, but I promised to give Sinai to UK so they maintain the control of transport route through India to their mainland. That's quite reasonable. If you have to give up Sinai, it's quite okay. It's not a big deal. Basically, they really want the canal built, and I'm very unlikely to have all the techs needed to build it in, what was it, 1860s or 1870s? Either way, I would prefer that UK build it and not have enemy in UK. So there is that. As for other powers, we have Iceland playing France, and I believe Endo playing Sardinia. On the other hand, we have Slayzer playing Prussia. And I believe this will be a very interesting conflict in Europe, because Iceland and Endo, both players are... Iceland is actually a quite experienced player, but he doesn't really play very aggressively, so I don't really expect him to use the left bank, or the right bank. Whichever the decision is. Once you gain free CB on Prussia, or NGF, whichever is formed at that point. So, it will be probably Slayzer or Prussia that is going to make some offenses against France. Now, if Austria is going to help him, I really don't know, but I think we'll see alliance between France and Russia. So, it's quite questionable if we will be seeing Germany early on. I really honestly don't think so, unless Default, who is playing UK, does something to upset that balance of ours, which is quite possible since Default actually has a lot of defensive treaties and he can't really do much in this region, this Africa and Southeast Asia. Actually Southeast Asia is here, but yeah, he does have defensive alliance with Netherlands, so he won't be attacking them. I believe they will be just splitting out the Southeast Asia, so that's that. Also, we have Sneaky playing USA, already making an alliance with Mexico. I don't really recall what the exact deal was, but I believe Mexico will allow USA to take Texas and rest of the colonial stuff here. Well, I guess those will be turned into states very, very quickly. But it's quite possible that we'll see a fight between UK and USA in some early days of the game. So that is also an interesting thing. We do have Japan being played by Lotus, and I really have no idea of what he is going to do. Well, the most reasonable thing he can do is go for Korea early on and then try to westernize as quickly as possible, but will UK try to stop them? I don't think so, but Default is known as one of the most aggressive players, so it's not entirely impossible to see that. As for my plans, I can't really reveal what I exactly intend to do, for obvious reasons. It's going to piss off few people. Now I know that it is going to piss off one minor country, that is for sure, but I'm not sure what the reaction of the other great powers will be. I hope that they won't care that much, although there is one great power that might be pissed by my actions. So I'm not going to reveal it, and you will see tonight. I will be streaming the game, so have fun until then. See ya.